Hi friends, welcome back to my channel. For today's video, we're going to be recreating a beautiful look I saw on the Chanel Beauty Instagram page. This is the Chanel Fall 2023 Backstage makeup look. I saw this post several months ago and I kept my eye on it because this was part of a runway look, and fashion is always several months ahead of the seasons, but now that it's actually fall season, I thought we could recreate it, and I have most of the products. So before we go any further, let's take a second to grab our iced coffee or a hot coffee. Let's take a sip and let's get started. So I thought we could start with a little bit of skincare here. They didn't really say what they used for this event. This was the Chanel Fall Winter 2023-2024 ready to wear collection in Paris, of course, and it's a beautiful, delicate, smoky eye. But I'm gonna go ahead and start off with some skincare at first. I'm using here the Sublimage L'Extrait. This is a serum. You can use this day or night, as you can see. Mine is well loved. This is a very intense and reparative oil serum concentrate. You use 1 or 2 pumps. I like to do 2 pumps like this, and I like to sort of divvy it up on the face like this instead of just rubbing it on my fingertips, because I want my face to absorb most of this and not the palm of my hand. It is intensely hydrating. It gives my skin such glow, such luminosity. It's almost like an instant facial. Listen, I get facials, I try a lot of skincare. I love this serum so much, and what's nice about it is you don't have to use it morning and night forever. It's sort of built as, the French term is cure, and it's like not quite a detox because it's something that you use maybe after an illness, after an injury, after like massive weight loss or something, where you just sort of need to take care of yourself, cocoon yourself. This is a type of product you only use morning and night for maybe 6 months. Time to just make everything, like get everything to repair and restore and look beautiful and radiant. And this is what it looks like. It's so gorgeous. It's silky. It feels like an oil, but then it doesn't feel greasy. It feels silky and velvety, and it's great. It's wonderful. So I'm going to use that, and then I have a sample here of the Hydra Beauty micro cream for the eyes. I have this here, so I'm going to use that for the eyes as well. I'm just taking a little bit here, and then I'll do double duty. I find it's such a fine line between giving myself a little massage and not manhandling my skin, you know? Because they always say to be so delicate with your face, not to like rub and tug too harshly. But then at the same time, sometimes you see these videos and they're just like going wild, and it's just like, sometimes it's just sort of difficult to figure out exactly how you should be going. But anyway, I think I'm doing all right. It's hard to tell. You can sort of do this little motion that I'm doing here where it's lifting the eye a little bit, and then here at the tail you just sort of keep going until you get to the hairline. Just like that, and it helps lift the brow a little bit and also sort of sets your eyebrows at the same time. And then for the cream, I have a sample of the Sublimage. This is the Texture Supreme, so it's the richest texture. There's a fine, a normal, and then a rich one. The rich one is great for winter. I have a little bit left. It smells wonderful. It has like that slight vanilla scent. So you can see it's a very thick cream here. And I find with the serum that I used before, I use a little bit less moisturizer because it's so incredibly hydrating and soothing and cocooning. Oh, it's so good. I mean, don't get me wrong, the price for that serum is ridiculous, but unfortunately, it's one of those products from the brand that I tried and was like, oh, yeah, it is worth it, unfortunately, tragically, for myself and my wallet. I'm using a little bit of my Hourglass eyeshadow primer here. They didn't list an eyeshadow primer. Listen, I have hooded eyes and oily eyes, so it's impossible for me to do any makeup without an eyeshadow primer. People out there who can do that, what's it like being God's chosen one? For me, I can't do that. I need a primer. And so this one I like, but I think I might try a different one just to see what's out there. I've heard that the Selena Gomez Rare Beauty one is good, so I might try that one next. And then I'm going into the brows. I like to do the brows first. This is just a Clé de Peau tinted brow gel. All right, let's dive into Modern Glamour. That's the palette that they used. Now, if we look at a couple of the different models, they used it differently. Like, it is the classic smoky silver, but this first photo here is what I'm inspired by. It kind of looks like they swept, I think this one, a little bit all over and underneath, and then here on the lid is a little bit bare or pale with a little bit something deeper in the crease here. But then if you look at some of the other models, they just sort of swept something really pale on the lid, like the pale silver just sort of barbouillé everywhere. It depends which model. They must have had different looks. Like this one here, it's similar to the first one, but a little bit different. So I'm gonna go with the first look because that's the one that I prefer. Now, they did not say what they did, how they acquired that look, just which products were used. So I'm gonna go ahead and use Creative Liberty and create my look. Now, everything that I'm mentioning today, everything that I'm wearing, the brushes, etc., they're all listed down below, so please go ahead and check that out. So this is the palette Modern Glamour. This has been around for quite some time. They did a reformulation a few years ago. I think it came out with a fall collection, so it makes sense to come out with it today. Now, I think I'll start with this one here. This is not a very subtle look, it's very dramatic. So we're going to go ahead and dip into this color here, and I'm using one of the retractable brushes from Chanel, and we're just gonna go ahead and dip in here. I'm bringing this pretty liberally and generously all over the lid here. It's coming off a little bit glittery, so I'm starting off with this, and then I may adapt and go into the other lighter gray shade here. This is a beautiful smoky palette that I haven't used in quite some time. I do think of it more as a fall or holiday palette because, I mean, a smoky eye is always pretty, it's always fun, but it's a very dramatic look, you know, it's not always something you want to wear for brunch on a Sunday morning.
And I want to talk to you about something.
Do you think your eyes are a little too smoky for every day?
Yeah, I'm going through a phase. Is that okay with you?
Sure.
Okay.
But we are in the season for gray, dark, smoky eyes. It is so gray and gloomy these days, like it's proper fall weather, so it makes sense to dip into this. I'm switching brushes. I'm going into the Definer Smudger brush. It's like a 2 wide pencil brushes here. Now I'm going into, I think I'll try this one here. I'll go into the crease with this, and then I'll probably go into the crease with the dark matte as well. I'm just trying to draw a straight line here. They probably did show how they created this look months ago when it first came out, but I didn't save the stories. You know, I think this came out in like March or April, so it's been a few months that I've been thinking of making this look here. I'm taking this one here and I'm tracing it on the lashes because there's definitely some sort of silver makeup on the bottom lashes here, and it seems that it goes all the way around. I might finish that after the face makeup, but it looks like it goes all the way around the eye like this. I'm still working with that same color and the same pencil. I'm just going really lightly, like I'm not scrubbing this in because it is dark and I want to try to control how dark this gets. I'm holding it by the opposite end very lightly here with a few fingers, like a fingertip or two, just like this, just to make it a little bit darker. I'm going back into the first brush that I was using. I was using the fluffy side. I'm going into this side here, and I'm going into the first silver color. I'm going to just pack it on the lid here because I think that's going to give me more of that metallic finish. I think when you blend it out, it changes the look quite a bit, but I just want to pack some of this on the lid here. Now I'm going back into the fluffy brush and just gently blending this together. This definitely looks very different than this photo here. I don't know what they did exactly. I think maybe did they just use this one here and just sort of blur it all over. Right now it kind of looks like a mess because there's nothing else going on except for a little bit of a Ninja Turtles eyeshadow look, but I'll fix it in a second. Taking more of the eye cream from before, I'm just going to clean this up because I think it's just like too low and like, I don't know, it looks different, the shape anyway, from the photo here. So I'm just going to clean this up. There isn't too much fallout, which is good. I'm going to take a little bit of the white and press it here just to brighten it a bit. I'm trying to achieve a little bit more of a silvery metallic look. I think it is what I'm getting here, but it just doesn't look exactly the same, but it never will. You know, I wasn't there when it was being done, so I don't know exactly what they did, but okay, I think this is something. I think I'm going to take my Q-tip here and just bring it down a notch here. I think it's a little bit too high for my taste. There's nothing on the Q-tip here, it's a dry one. Like this side here had the eye cream, but this side here doesn't. It's just going to help erase a little bit. Okay, that's good for now. Let's move on to the complexion. So they used the Complexion Touch, and I have the shade B40. I use B40 for the face and then a B30 for concealer. So what I do is I pump some on the back of my hand like this, and then I take a brush and I break it down. I think B40 might be a little bit tan for me right now. It looks a little bit tan, so maybe I'll go into my B30 just to even it out. I am typically between a B30 and a B40, and I think sadly we are at that time of year where the B30 fits me a bit better, so I'm just going to go into that. I have to say that the oil, like the extrait de nuit that I used, that oil serum, helps the makeup glide. It leaves a beautiful oily velvet residue on the skin that just, it glides really nicely. If you have very oily skin, only use it at night. But if you have dry, dehydrated, mature skin, I think you would really appreciate it in the morning as well. Now for the concealer, they just used the regular corrector. I'm going into my Sublimage concealer. As per usual, it's my favorite one. I use the shade 32 because it has a little bit of a peach cut, and especially because we're doing a very dark, smoky eye, I want to make sure that we hide any dark circles, anything like that. So just doing a little bit of a dot, and we're just going to leave it on the skin for like 30-40 seconds. You don't want it to dry completely, but if you let it dry a little bit, it gets a little bit tacky and it covers even more. So I looked on the Chanel Beauty Instagram page and I couldn't find anything for extra details about this look in particular. So we're just gonna go with what I've been doing. I think I didn't do the eyeliner or mascara yet, so it still looks a bit half-baked. Like whenever you do a dramatic eye look and the rest of the face isn't done, it always looks crazy. It always does. I mean, yeah, it does. But you just have to be patient and wait. So I'm just going to blend this out now. And this is the concealer blender brush here. It's dual-ended. Next step is the Le Beige Cream Bronzer. I'm using the shade 390. I think that's the original shade. Well, this is the new formulation, but the original shade, there's a couple other options available. I'm using the blush brush here because I just find that it's a good angled brush. It's not quite cut on a bias, but it is tapered like this. So I just find that it's good for contour or bronzer blush application. I'm not going to do too much though, because if you look at the photo, the face looks pretty, not nude, but very neutral. They added something to the cheeks to give some life, but the focus is on the smoky eye more than anything else. Next step is the Universal Loose Powder. I'm using the shade 30. You can use the translucent shade if you're not sure. I go with 30. I said I'm between a 40 and a 30, but I went with the 30 for the loose powder, just in case I want to go under the eyes. I don't want something too dark, and I'm using a Guerlain face brush here for the pearls, but it works for this as well. For the blush, it's number 72 Rose Initial, and as you can see, mine has been well loved. Yeah, it's barely holding itself up and there's barely anything left, but I think I can scrape another application here. I should just go ahead and buy a refill or like another one, but the thing is they've changed the formula and I'm not a huge fan of the new formula, so I'm just like scraping in here. Yeah, there's some color. Okay, there's some blush here. Worst case, I can take a spoolie and just sort of scratch some more blush here. Thankfully, this look isn't very blush heavy. Let's go ahead and finish up the eyes before I forget to. So they went into the number 88 from Style aux Yeux. It's the blackest of the black waterproof liner. And I think that they went in the waterline and then a little bit on the top lashes. I think that's all they did. So that's what I'm going to do here. So waterline first. And then a little bit on the top lashes. And you really want to keep this as close to the lash bed as possible. And then tons of mascara. I'm going into my Volume in Classic Black, but actually, before I do that, I'm going to go into my lash primer. This is just like a mascara base, mascara primer. It helps just make your lashes look more dense and more voluminous, so why not? Just a little bit before I put on the mascara. And there is definitely some mascara on the bottom lashes as well. Okay, let's finish up the eye here by going into, I think, a little bit of this white here with the pencil side, the very short one here. I'm going to take a bit of that white. Just to help brighten up the eye a little bit. But I think they did something else, something silvery. I can't quite put my finger on it, but it doesn't look the exact same. Oh well, it's still a very pretty smoky eye. I think I went in too dark in the crease here, and it's almost like it's just maybe these two, like, or I don't know, but this one looks a bit more bluish. They did something, but I still think that this looks pretty. It's just not the exact same. Oh well, it still works. Now for the lip, they used Boy. Believe it or not, I do not currently own any version of Boy, so instead I'm going to go into my Rouge Coco Boom 914 Natural Charm, and this is just like a very tinted lip balm. Very natural, very nude. You can see that the lip here, it's barely even there. You want something on the lip, but very light and natural. So just going to add some of this. There's not even a lip liner, just a very subtle lip. Okay, so that is the makeup look, but in order to complete the beauty look, we have to go into a perfume. There's no perfume listed, so I'm going to choose Creative Liberty here, and I'm going into Mademoiselle. I like the Eau de Toilette the most. It's a little bit lighter. It's more lychee, there's less patchouli, and I love this one. It's the travel size purse one. So it's just very twisty and it's very fresh. I love it. So anyway, here is my take on the Chanel Backstage Fall 2023 Fall Winter look here. So let me know what you think down below. Let me know if you have Modern Glamour. It's a beautiful palette. And let me know if you see more looks from Coco, like We Love Coco or Chanel Beauty that you want me to recreate. I would love to do that. I haven't done one of these in a minute, and I kind of forgot how nice it is because they list everything. So it's very easy for me to go step by step. Anyway, make sure you are subscribed. Make sure, double check that you have your notification bell set to on, just in case, because sometimes YouTube will unnotify you just for fun. So make sure that you're subscribed and your notifications are set to on. And that's all I have for you guys for today. Thank you so much for stopping by. Hope you have a beautiful day, and I'll see you next time. Bye.